Hey, it's Coach Justin from Ultimate Baseball Training. Welcome back to another video, and today's video is all about hitting. We're going to discuss the top 3 things that every single hitter needs to focus on when hitting a baseball. These are the 3 major components. If you only focus on these 3 things, you're going to be a highly successful hitter, a hitter that can crush line drives into the gaps and over the fences, all right? So these 3 things are big. I really think this video is going to be beneficial for you. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. All right, so let's get into it. The very first thing that you need to focus on to be a successful hitter is timing. You have to be on time. Timing is so critical because really, if you're off time, if you're consistently early, if you're consistently late, if you're not on time, that can actually cause a whole bunch of issues. Let me explain what that means, all right? If I am, let's say, consistently early, my timing, I'm always early on absolutely everything. When I foul balls off, I'm pulling it down the line. For a right-handed hitter, you know, I'm hooking the ball in the third base dugout, or I'm ridiculously early. Well, if I consistently do that, just one mechanical issue that could come about because of that is if I'm always early, I might all of a sudden develop a problem of lunging and really getting out over this front side because I'm waiting. The ball's not here yet, but I'm already ready to hit. So I need to wait. And if you allow your momentum to get out over your front foot like this, you're obviously beat. And so, you know, a whole host of other issues can cause or can occur when you're consistently late as well. One of those issues might be if you're consistently late, you might have a hard time with, you know, maybe you really struggle pulling your head, right? A lot of coaches might tell you, you're just not seeing it, you're pulling your head. Well, that might be because you're consistently so late that the only way that your brain tells your body, the only way I can hit this is if I pull my head like this to make room for everything else to get into the zone. And so if your timing is off, it can cause a whole bunch of issues in your swing. So timing is everything. So if we know that timing is everything, then how do we successfully time the pitcher? Well, the first piece of advice that I have for you in terms of timing is you have to time the fastball and adjust to everything else, all right? And the reason I say that is because if I'm on time, if I am ready for the fastball and I recognize at the last second, it's actually a breaking ball, it's easier for me to keep my hands back, tap the brakes for just a second, maybe sink down a little bit and still drive that ball to the opposite field. It's easy to hold off on your swing just a hair, just one little click, one little millisecond for an off-speed pitch. However, if you flip that, if roles are reversed, it is not very easy to be like, all right, I think he's gonna throw me a curveball here, maybe a changeup. So I'm sitting on a curveball, let's say. You sit on a curveball and you go into your load thinking it's gonna be a curveball, and all of a sudden he juices up a fastball, and by that time, it's too late. You're gonna get completely tied up. You're gonna be frozen in the box. You can't really time an off-speed pitch and usually catch up to the fastball. It has to be timing the fastball and adjusting to everything else. So that's the first thing when it comes to timing. The next piece of advice I have for you is dance with the pitcher. And what I mean by dancing with the pitcher is when you're dancing with someone, right? Everything needs to be in sync. You need to be moving at the exact same time. And so a lot of players come to me and they ask, well, I'm struggling with my timing. What do you recommend for timing? And I recommend that you literally imagine yourself dancing with the pitcher and not on a ballroom dance floor, right? What I'm talking about is when the pitcher, he's getting his sign. That's when you are just kind of chilling in the batter's box, keeping yourself, mentally locked in and physically nice and loose and relaxed. Then when the pitcher, when he goes into his motion, that's when you should start your motion a little bit. When he basically loads and goes into his leg lift, right? That's essentially the time that you should load and go into your leg lift, right? When he strides towards the plate to deliver the pitch, that's roughly the time that you should stride towards him. So you see how everything when you're dancing with the pitcher, every single motion that he does, you're kind of mirroring him and everything is in sync. Now, there has to be adjustments made with this, all right? You can't just do this for every single pitcher. For a guy that throws a little harder, you got to start everything a little bit sooner. For a guy that throws slower, you can start everything a little bit later. But if you just focus on timing the fastball and adjusting to everything else, dancing with the pitcher, and then you focus on getting your timing in the dugout and in the on-deck circle instead of at the plate, you should show up to the plate in the batter's box. You should have your timing and be ready. But if you do those things, I'm telling you, you're gonna be a much better hitter. So first thing, focus on being on time. All right, so now that our timing is dialed in, the next major component to hitting a baseball successfully is you have to be on plane with the pitch, right? And a lot of hitters get this wrong. A lot of hitters, they're taught to get on top of the baseball. And so what they do, and I'm speaking in extremes here, but a lot of hitters, they try to go from their hands being high like this, and they try to come down on the baseball like this. And if you watch any successful hitter, they are not chopping down on the baseball. And there's good reasoning for that. You're not on plane with the pitch when you're chopping down. So let me go into further detail, all right? When there's a pitcher on the mound, he's on not a flat surface, he's on a mound. He's on an elevated mound. So is he the same size as me? When I'm in the batter's box, he's on the mound. Is he on an equal playing field with me, or is he a little bit higher? He's a little bit higher, right? Because he's on an elevated mound. So he's already got the advantage. He's already taller than me, you could say, all right? Then on top of that, the majority of pitchers, where do they release the baseball from? You're gonna have some sidewinders, right? Some guys who throw, submarine style, but the majority of pitchers are gonna throw from over the top, right? Either directly over the top or about a 3/4 arm slot. So if they're standing on an elevated surface, they're already taller than us, and they're throwing the ball from up here, they have to throw the ball down into the strike zone. In order for the pitch to be a strike, it has to be coming on a downward plane. And so if the pitch is coming in on a downward plane and we also swing on a downward plane, again, I'm using extremes here, but if we swing on a downward plane, those two angles are coming down like this, there's only one point of intersection. And so what that means is if we were to swing down like that, our timing would have to be absolutely perfect in order for us to hit that baseball. And chances are, even if we do hit it, we're either gonna get underneath it and hit a pop-up, or we're gonna drive it, we're gonna beat it into the ground. And so the answer is not when the pitcher is throwing downward, and they're also taught to keep the ball down in the strike zone. So they're throwing down and they're throwing down in the strike zone. We should not work in their favor and swing down and get on top of it. Instead, what we should do is we should get on plane with the pitch. We should match the plane with the pitch, all right? So Ted Williams, arguably the greatest hitter to ever live, right? He said that the best baseball swing is a swing that's on plane with the pitch and that's slightly up. And so I don't want you to get the wrong mentality. I'm not telling you, all right, well, Coach Justin just tells me to drop my back shoulder, dump my barrel like this and swing up. No, that's not what I'm telling you at all. But the most successful hitters, they match the plane of the pitch. So you have to be on time. You also have to be on plane with the pitch. How do you get on plane with the pitch? Well, there's no, secret sauce to it. A lot of it is just repetition off the tee and soft toss, front toss, batting practice, just tons and tons of swings. But a couple things you can focus on. Number one is getting good shoulder tilt. All right, so what I mean by that is when we load and stride, when our front foot hits the ground, we get to this launch position, my front shoulder should be slightly lower than my back shoulder. And then when my front heel drops and I start my swing, then our shoulders actually flip-flop like this. So I go from my front shoulder being about 9 degrees lower to then when my heel drops and I start the rotational component of my swing, and then I get to the point of contact, my back shoulder is actually gonna be lower than my front shoulder. All right, so focus on getting that good shoulder tilt. Focus on keeping your posture. Don't lose your posture. Get to a really good launch position. So when your front foot hits the ground, that's your launch position. Get to a really good launch position, all right? Stay connected. Keep everything, what I mean by that is keep everything in tight to your body. Don't get out here. Keep everything in tight to your body. And then the last thing that I want to talk about when it comes to being on plane with the pitch is a lot of hitters, I would say the majority of young hitters, when they make contact with the ball, all right, so they hit the ball, immediately after contact, they get real flippy with their wrists like this. And you probably noticed from the camera angle, when I get to the point of contact and get flippy, what does that do? That immediately pulls my bat off plane with the pitch. And we're talking about we want to be on plane for as long as possible. So how do you fix this? What you need to focus on is when you get to the point of contact, don't stop. When you get to the point of contact, drive through the baseball, drive through the ball. You should be continuing to gain ground towards the pitcher with your top hand. All right, and the easy way to remember that is if you get to the point of contact, act like with this top hand, you've got a pizza on it and you're throwing it into the oven. You're throwing it towards the pitcher like this. But we don't want to get to contact and get flippy and get off plane. We want to drive through, throw that pizza in the oven and stay on plane for as long as possible. All right, and then the very last thing that you really need to focus on to hit a baseball is, you know, we got our good timing now, we're on playing with the pitch. Those two things alone are gonna really set us up for success. But the last thing is critical, and that is focus on hitting the ball on the barrel. You gotta be on time, you gotta be on plane, you gotta hit the ball on the barrel. If you're on time and on plane, but you hit the ball, you know, off of the end of the bat like this, that's no good. Or if you hit the ball, you know, in here like this, that's no good, especially with a wood bat, you're gonna break that bat. So we gotta be on time, we gotta be on plane with the pitch, but we also gotta hit the ball on the barrel, on the sweet spot. The ball's gonna travel a lot further when we square it up and we hit the ball on the sweet spot, all right? So how do we go about doing that? Well, again, there's no shortcut to this. There's no secret sauce. It's gonna take a lot of time, a lot of repetitions off of the tee, soft toss, front toss, batting practice, a lot of live at bats in real games. And this is something that you always have to be working on. This is not something that you just master and all of a sudden you've got it. One piece of advice I have for you though is start off with tee work. Start off on the tee. I know a lot of younger players for whatever reason don't really like tee work, but if you can't hit a baseball off of a tee, if you can't square the ball up and hit it on the sweet spot, the barrel of your bat off of a tee, then how do you expect to square it up against a pitcher in a real game where the ball is actually, you know, dipping and diving and moving all over the place? He's switching up speeds on you. If you can't hit a stationary object, good luck hitting something that's moving, all right? So start off with tee work. And the only other thing I'll say on that is if you really want to hit the ball consistently on the sweet spot, you have to watch the baseball all the way to the bat. If you're looking for a major league player that does this, arguably better than anyone else out there, it's Nolan Arenado. You see him on a home run swing in slow motion and he makes contact with the ball and he literally keeps his head down until the ball is literally, I swear, past, you know, the infielders. He's keeping his head down. He's truly watching the baseball the entire time. He's seeing it connect with the baseball bat, and no wonder why he's such a successful hitter. So start out, if you're looking to, you know, just like every hitter is, if you're looking to hit the ball more on the barrel, more on the sweet spot, make sure you can, you know, square the ball up on a tee first of all. So do your tee work, and then just, you got to really focus on watching the baseball all the way to the bat, and even when you swing, keeping your eyes down on the hitting zone. If you enjoyed this video, I really think you're going to enjoy the free bat speed workout that I put together for you. It's 100% free. All you have to do to grab this free Bat Speed Boosters workout is just click on the very first link in the comment section, all right? I'll pin that comment to the top so it's easy for you to find. You just click on that link. All I need is your email address so I know where to send this free Bat Speed Boosters workout. So go ahead and do that right now. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button for me. And last but certainly not least, if you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button. Join the UBT family. We're coming out with brand new baseball videos every single week, and I don't want you to miss any of them. So hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.